Greetings, my name is Akwesi Prempe, and life and travel excite me. My excitement of these two things inspired me to found Live the Dash Tours. What does Live the Dash mean, you might ask? Well, if you think of an obituary, you have the date that a person was born, and you have the date that a person moves on. But what do you have in between those two dates? You have the dash. Now that dash represents life. Our niche market are solo travelers. What we found is that people have ambitions of traveling and seeing the world, but they might have a spouse, significant other, family member, or friend who do not wish to travel with them because they do not have the time, the money, the interest, and I could go on. So what often happens is that people's travel dreams are never realized, and that's where Live the Dash Tours comes in. We partner solo travelers together in small, intimate groups of no more than 12. These are individuals who share a common passion to get out there and see this amazing world. They are not allowing others to hold them back. They are out there living the dash. Our tours will range from mid-market to luxury. We combine comfort and adventure. The typical age range of our travelers are between 35 and 65 years of age. At Live the Dash Tours, we value living life to the fullest, authenticity, fun, and community building. You can expect to have an authentic experience when you travel with Live the Dash Tours. We place tremendous emphasis on human and cultural interactions. When people travel to foreign destinations, the extent to which they interact with local people is normally limited to a service capacity. You have the person at the front desk of the hotel, the waiter or waitress at a restaurant, or a cab driver. Live the Dash Tours will have local families host our groups for lunch or dinner. And these families will also invite relevant people so that we are all seated together at the same table, conversing directly about issues ranging from politics to culture, the arts, or whatever comes to mind. All of this is happening while we dine on traditionally home-cooked cuisine. I'd like for a moment to share some of my travel experiences with you. I recently traveled solo to Namibia. I drove from the capital Windhoek to a town called Sossusvlei, which is in the southern part of the Namib Desert. Now, the Namib Desert is the oldest desert in the world. I arrived at my lodge shortly before sunset and had dinner. After retiring to my chalet, I went out on the veranda and looked up at the sky. I was in total awe of what I saw. There were literally thousands of stars that lit up the sky. Living in New York, I tend to forget that all those stars are up there because of all of the light pollution. It was absolutely breathtaking. The following morning, I headed out on a tour to see the sunrise over the Namib Desert. If you can imagine, inside the Namib Desert are these beautiful red sand dunes that shift with the wind and tower over 1,000 feet. I climbed atop one of the dunes and took in the beauty of nature. It was total serenity. After Sossusvlei, I drove north to a town called Swakopmund. And on my way to Swakopmund, I passed through a town called Walvis Bay. In Walvis Bay, I saw something that I never thought was possible. The Atlantic Ocean began to appear on my left, and the desert was on my right. Imagine, you had two conflicting landscapes, and the only thing that separated them was a road. It was spectacular. I had another reservation at a lodge in Etosha National Park. And the person who booked the reservation told me to get there before sunset because the gate closes. It took me a while to get there because I stopped to help various people along the way. I stopped at a gas station and asked the attendant if the information I was given was accurate. He dismissed it as false because he had encountered tourists at late hours heading to the park. As I left the gas station, the sun began to set and panic set in because I hadn't found the gate yet. I finally arrived at the gate, and guess what? The gate was closed. I started honking my horn feverishly, and then a gentleman appeared from the side of the gate that I was on. I told him that I had a reservation and needed to get in, but he told me that he could not allow me to enter for my safety. He told me that I would have to head back to the nearest town, which is about 2 hours away, but I knew that wasn't an option because it was getting dark. I asked him if he could be so kind to offer me a blanket so that I could sleep in my car, but he did me one better and allowed me to sleep in one of their tents. Prior to bedtime, I sat around a fire with complete strangers who were the nicest people you would ever want to meet. They began to tell me about Namibia, and I began to tell them about New York. Then a woman in the circle offered me some beer, but then I noticed that she sipped it prior to giving it to me. I immediately recognized this as a cultural gesture that suggested that nothing nefarious was done to the beer. These are the type of memorable moments that people can expect to experience on a Live the Dash tour. Enough of my travel experiences. Book now and let's create yours.